Good morning, everybody. It's the Dog H. Weber with another edition of Weber This Week. Hey, if you had Denver 4 and Carolina 0 for the final score, you are smiling this morning because that means you won the final. Super Bowl 50 is finally over. The Panthers looked tough for most of the regular season, but give credit to the number one defense in the NFL, the Denver Broncos, as we welcome you on a Monday morning. Certainly, Denver chased Cam Newton all over the field, and for the most part, they had him under wraps. And, hey, give credit where credit is due. Denver was much the better team, and the 5.5-point line that they were getting, they didn't even need. They won by, some 14 points. So that's over. I still love the Dorito commercial, by the way. That's my number one commercial, the Dorito. That was fabulous. Hope you enjoyed checking out those. I didn't really watch too much of the halftime show, but hey, it's good to bring in a good friend of mine. And, of course, we are sorry to say that we do not have Lori Malfitani, the general manager of the Gould. She had something come up that makes her impossible for her to be at the studio this morning on the show. But my friend Jason Hagerman, Jason, of course, was on several months ago. Jason, the sales and events planner for the manager for the Gould Hotel. Jason, thanks for coming in again.
Glad to be here. Thank you very much.
We all know Jason. He was on a few months ago. We had him and his chef there, my man, the chef up there at Ramada.
Yep.
And I was working at the Ramada in Geneva, a very hot place where a lot of activities take place. And he decided that he wanted to find greener pastures or different pastures and ended up at the Gould. Tell us a little about the transition coming to the Gould in Seneca Falls, the differential between the Ramada and the Gould, Jason.
Gosh, well, I guess the biggest difference is from a lakefront property to a canal view property.
There you go.
It's still a water nearby. But the Gould is a gorgeous building. On the outside, it's just a red brick building. But once you step inside, the common space, the restaurant, the bar area, beautiful space. The ballroom is gorgeous. The guest rooms, they've had another influx of investment just May of last year. So if anybody around here has not been inside the Gould or seen the rooms since May of last year, stop in. We'll show you the rooms. It's beautiful, beautiful property.
And by the way, I think most people who know that I've had about 75 part-time jobs since I left Gould's Pumps ITT in 2007. One of my first part-time jobs, since I live up the street, was to come to the Clarence at the time, Hotel Clarence. It's a Wonderful Life theme, and my wife kept bugging me about going there and getting a part-time job. I did. I got trained at the beginning. I was one of the beginning crop. We hadn't even opened up yet across the street, and it was quite an adventure. I did some auditing for him and ended up at the front desk, did some shifts there. And I want to send out kudos to my friend Kathy from Geneva, who's at the front desk, and she's always bright on top of her game. She is one of the original members of the crew that applied for positions way back when it first got created.
Excellent.
And Kathy does a great job.
She does do a great job.
Always a smile. So if you see Kathy, say the dog mentioned her name on this show. Well, Jace, sales and events manager, of course, that encompasses a lot of things. My wife and myself have eaten at the Gould several times. I still think the number one dish at the Gould is the pot roast dish. I love that dish.
Good.
But, you have a scope of a lot of opportunities where you may be limited in size for putting on a huge wedding or et cetera, but you still can draw nice crowds for the back room.
Absolutely.
You got the wedding opportunities. You got stag parties. You got fashion shows, you name it, it can be held at the Gould. So talk a little bit about what the Gould can offer people.
Well, we utilize the ballroom space for meeting space. We also have a boardroom in the back. The ballroom itself can break out into two different rooms. So we do have some business clients that come in. They'll book some rooms, and they'll utilize all the meeting space that we have for a couple of days. That helps us during the midweek type of thing. Weekends, typically, we've got bridal showers, baby showers, wedding receptions. Not so many stag parties yet, but we're open. We're open for whatever. If people need some space and if they want some delicious food and catering, we can take care of it. We can also take care. Here's an add-on: is we also own a large catering trailer, so we can do off-site events as well.
That's a nice touch. Yeah. And we should point out one of the big days is coming up this weekend, Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
And I saw on your website where you got a special going.
We do.
For some dinner opportunities and a discount on a room. So it's it's a good opportunity for someone to stay there and have some nice food and enjoy the entertainment and be a part of the Valentine's Day celebration.
We're a couple of guys here, and I know myself, I'm not a big planner. So anybody out there is still looking for something to, just to surprise their significant other with, we've got an overnight package, includes a voucher towards dinner, a bottle of wine, chocolate-covered strawberries, and it's just a beautiful place. Even if you live right down the street, it's a nice little getaway for a night.
And we do live down. There's some pictures right there. Yeah,
there
so it brings back a lot of good memories. I remember doing the front desk work, and once in a while somebody's TV wouldn't work, and I'd run upstairs and slam the remote on the floor, pick it back up, put the batteries back in it, and it would work. And we had some good times there. And it is a nice place. And the thing about the Gould, and of course I been a Seneca Falls guy most of my life, is you really don't realize what a gem it really is. It's a beautiful structure. It's well appointed. It's got a lot of class to it, and certainly people who are looking for an opportunity to take their special occasion, I recommend that you check out the Gould, and Jason's the guy to talk to, and he'll set it all up for you. And I was thinking about this before we came over to the interview. By the way, Lori Malfitani, the general manager, who I've not met personally yet, I'm going to have to stop by and meet her. She was due to be on the show this morning, but something came up prohibiting her from being here. So we have Jason, who's the sales and events manager. But, I was thinking about it. We really have a lot of good things in Seneca Falls working for the Gould, the Home of Women's Rights, the National Hall of Fame, across the canal there that's being constructed. You've got a zillion wine tours that people frequent through the Gould. I remember setting those up when I was there.
Lots of colleges surrounding there.
Oh, lots of colleges. There's a lot of opportunities that people really can take advantage of the Gould, because it's actually the centerpiece of all those activities.
Actually, it is, and I'm glad you brought some of those things up. In fact, one of the events that's coming up is the first inaugural 19K.
Yep.
In fact, I got my wristband on.
There you go.
Met with Katie McIntyre at
Right.
Generations Bank last week, and she's been doing an amazing job of planning this event.
She's phenomenal, yeah.
They're anticipating 4,000 people. They're planning for 4,000 people to participate in this event, so it's going to be spectacular. That's Saturday, May 7th.
Yeah, and it's not as far away as you might think, actually. It's what, that would be about 60, 70 days away?
Yeah.
Maybe I got it wrong. I don't know, about more 70 to 90, somewhere in there.
We need a calendar in front of us.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because Jimmy knows that May 7th is a big day for me and my wife Mary, that's our 50th wedding anniversary on May 7th.
So you're going to run?
We're going to be out of town.
Well, I thought you guys might run together in the 19K.
Not going to happen. But that's our
There's
fifth.
also a 5K component of that.
Yeah.
So if people are like me and can't stretch the legs for that long of a time, there's also a 5K component.
Yeah, so I told Katie, she'll be on the show, by the way, in March, promoting that.
Beautiful.
We've scheduled her. But that'll be our 50th wedding anniversary on May 7th. We will be away at an undisclosed place gambling. No, we just have some fun. But we are going to look forward to that. So that's too bad that I won't be in town, but certainly I know it's going to be a spectacular event. And I've gotten to know Katie quite well. She's a Facebook friend, and she certainly is very detailed and extremely proficient in what she does. And she's so heavily involved in community events. And she's definitely a winner for Menzel Case and that staff down there.
Absolutely.
So, Jason Hagerman is my special guest this morning, sales and events planning for the Gould Hotel. And we're going to talk about what Jason feels is some of the things that would inspire you to be a part of being a part of the Gould Hotel here in Seneca Falls. But let's take a break. We come back. We'll talk a little bit about the Super Bowl. We'll talk about high school basketball. Yeah, special broadcast. Tonight we'll talk about that as we go out and visit the Hoyt family. We'll come back after this. Cayuga Lake National Bank. Bill Ryan and his team for all of your banking needs. Offices in Union Springs and Aurora. A fine sponsor of this show for over 30 years. DA Liquor, Seneca Falls. Amy Padula and her great team will find that right spirit for you every time. Gould Hotel welcomes you to come out and enjoy the revitalization of this historical landmark. Wednesdays, don't forget Ladies' Night with special price drinks and half-priced appetizers. Tap is Thursday, and their chef serves a dinner special every night. The Gould Hotel in Seneca Falls. Steve Wadhams, Wadhams Enterprises, your employer of choice. Proud supporter of this show and local athletics. Bob and Leslie Ullman, owners of the Ullman Theater, in Lions as well as the Newark Pilots, a minor league baseball team with a major league ballpark. SenecaFallsCountryClub.com, awesome 18-hole layout, offering a 12-month payment plan, home of the toughest par 4 in central New York. Wilson Press, WPress.com, Seneca Falls. Rich Ricky, my good friend, and his team can handle all of your printing and mailing needs. Rich Ricky, Wilson Press, a fine sponsor of Weber This Week. And we thank our great sponsors that make this show possible, and especially Jason and the Gould, who is obviously a sponsor of this show, so we appreciate their support as well. Certainly I was thinking about when they ran the Ullman spots. Leslie's a little bit in mourning this morning, Leslie Ullman, big Carolina Panther fan, diehard Panther fan. But she was brave and she gave credit to where credit was due, crediting Denver. Jason, you said you watched the game last night at home?
I did.
Yeah, we've had 4 couples come over, plus ours, the host, me and Mary. We've done it for 32 years, and the names have changed a little bit, but Dennis Coggins and his wife Donna have made all 32. And we just have a lot of food, and we have a couple drinks, and we get our names on a few squares, and we pray like heck. But it's an event, and I am tired of the fact that these pregame shows start at 8 o'clock on a Sunday morning. It's a little bit much.
Yeah.
I mean, 10 and a half hours. And by the way, we have made a pledge, the people that are at my place. We watch golf in the afternoon. We watch anything but the pregame show. We could care less. All we want to do, Jimmy, is turn it over when the kickoff starts. That's it.
Yeah, well, they started late last night, and that's what I got upset.
Oh, my God.
I can't remember what time they said kickoff was, but,
yeah.
you know, and then they got to announce every single Super Bowl MVP, and it's just, let's go, let's play some football. And then the commercial breaks, you know, between you. Somebody scores, and then they kick off, and then they go to a commercial, then they come back, and first down, and there's a play to review, and that takes 5 minutes. Everything takes so long for the Super Bowl.
Yep.
I think, you know, what time the game end up finishing?
About 11 o'clock.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's a 5-hour,
you
know,
but we've made a
broadcast.
pledge. When you're at my apartment for this party, you don't expect to watch zero pregame. We don't care about the national anthem, sorry. We don't care about anything on the field. We just want to see the kickoff. And that's when we get, and the girls are in the other part of the apartment.
national anthem was a good one, though.
I heard Lady Gaga killed it.
Yeah.
I heard she did it. We're not too much of that pomp and circumstance. We just want to see football. And all right. So, by the way, a reminder tonight. Of course, our high school basketball covers 25 games that Jimmy put together for his team. 28 games.
Tonight's game, 28.
28 games we've covered tonight. Sodas visits North Rose-Wolcott. The Cougars losing their first time against East Rochester the other night. That could be a good thing. Excuse me. The pressure of continuing to win, go undefeated, is very, very difficult in the world of any kind of sport. So I think Brian Hoyt and his team will probably be better positioned with a loss. They should be heavily favored tonight against Sodas. We'll have the game for you about 7:30. Dave Barnick, Mike Alessio with the call. Jimmy Senecropi and our cameraman, the Hunt brothers, will be out there, no doubt. And so that'll be our last regular season game, and then Jimmy will decide if we're going to do any sectional action. Of course, that to be determined the next week or so. But North Rose-Wolcott with one loss taking on Sodas tonight. You can check it all out on Finger Lakes 1 about 7:30. Jason, we talked during the break, a lot of things happening at the Gould. I know Wednesday night is women's night, half-price drinks, etc., for certain drinks. Talk about some of the events that take place at the Gould.
That's absolutely right. We've got some weekly things that are occurring. One that's relatively new is $10 pasta night on Monday evenings. It's all-you-can-eat pasta. There's typically 3 different sauces. We've got a marinara, an Alfredo, and then a chef's special choice for each evening. Wednesday night, as you mentioned, is ladies' night. It's half off apps and then some drink specials. Thursday is tapas night. Friday, of course, is Friday Fish Fry. It's a $12 fish fry, and we also have live music every Friday night from 7 to 10 p.m. And then we're adding wine tastings to that as well.
Is the fish fry something new?
We've had it for a while, but of course with Lent season coming up,
right?
Yeah, right.
I want to remind folks that we've got some delicious food over there.
I know the Wednesday night ladies' night is very popular.
Yeah,
and it's. And the Thursday night tapas, I've had it a couple times, and you can't beat it. You know, if you want to just kind of sample a bunch of different things, and it's and everything on the menu is great. I really enjoy. I've been there for a ladies' night and Thursday night. They're both really good events. So now I got to come for the fish.
Fish, well, and the pasta too, if you're all right with that. And then Saturday they promote the prime rib night.
Oh yeah, and I told it's well documented that my favorite dish is the pot roast dish. I love the pot roast dish at the Gould. I love it. I had it the first time they offered it a few years ago, and it was just spectacular. You could cut the pot roast with the fork. It's just so good. So
just breaks
good.
apart for you, yeah.
It's just so good, and I love that dish. A little vegetable, a little mashed potatoes. So that's the dog's number one dish at the Gould, baby. Try out the pot roast dish. If you haven't tried it, you will not be disappointed.
When I came over, that's one of the things I noticed on the menu is there's a combination of they've got some sophisticated dishes on the menu, but they also have some of the feel good.
And that's
dishes.
a feel good dish.
Yeah,
that's a feel good dish.
Absolutely.
Well, you know, I can say I remember having worked there for about a year part time. It's sort of the hotbed of the Finger Lakes. It can be extremely busy there, and you know you want people to partake. I remember having couples come in, setting up wine tours, waiting for the bus to show up, and just having a good time, going into the bar, having a drink. You speak about feel-good food. The Gould, in my mind, the way you have it structured now, and the accommodations and the decor, it's just a place that you can enjoy yourself and be really relaxed there.
Absolutely.
It's not stuffy. You know, I think it's a point I'm trying to make. You don't feel like you're going to hurt something. You just enjoy yourself. And that's what I think is important about the Gould.
You're exactly right. They've done a good job of appointing it nicely. It's comfortable. It's very clean.
Right.
And you just roll right in, and you feel comfortable right away. And the services, they've done a good job of bringing people on that provide top-notch service.
And certainly, we are urging you to partake in the Gould. They have the ball drop, which I think is neat.
Yep.
Coming from Antonina's. Jimmy is well aware of that. He tapes it every year, does a good job broadcasting that one. I don't stay up that late, so I never see it come down. My theory has always been, you've seen one ball come down, you've seen them all. And I said to my wife, Mary, one year, I said, when the ball goes back up instead of down, I'll probably stay up and watch it. But no, I mean, I'm only, because I'm an early riser and I go to bed early. So we tried it once. I saw Jimmy at the Antonina's years ago, and the Kays and the Webbers went over there after dinner. And we hung out until the ball came down, and it was fun. It was a little chilly in the middle of the road.
Right.
And there was a lot of people having a good time.
The amazing thing about that event is, though, it's like 11:30, and there's a lot of people in the Gould on New Year's Eve having a good time, but the street's kind of empty at 11:30. Then all of a sudden, hundreds of people just show up, and next thing you know, it's out. And I think the venue on State Street there with it blocked off is the perfect venue with the ball up above the entrance of the Gould. I think that is really a great event.
For me, I'm a newcomer to that event, but I'm impressed that they created that local tradition. It's a beautiful tradition. You know, you don't have to drive down to New York for Times Square. We've got a mini Times Square here, so I'm proud being a newcomer to the Seneca Falls area and to the Gould that to continue that tradition.
And by the way, we should point out, if you don't know, Jason is a member of the Geneva City Council. How long you served on the council?
Longer than I thought I would.
Really?
I was recently reelected to a third term. So 8 years on, this is year 9 that I'm starting right now.
Not bad for $100,000 a year that they were paying you to do that work up there.
Yeah.
Okay, it's pretty impressive.
What are some of the issues that you're focusing on in Geneva nowadays?
Gosh.
There's a lot of things, right?
Well, Geneva set up that we're a policymaking board. So, we get paid the pennies, whereas the city manager, he does the day-to-day stuff.
Right.
So, our major task is the budget,
right,
and giving directives on that. But issues range anywhere from like last week we had a presentation on the feral cat issue in the city. Street resurfacing is a annual thing. The sewer line, the aging sewer line, and infrastructure, and of course economic development and finding some way. And of course Seneca County is in the same situation, just trying to find some way to bring in some livable wages and keep people employed and keep this area going well. We know tourism is obviously a growing industry here. That's been on the heels of the wine industry.
Yeah, it seems that you guys have had tremendous success in kind of rebranding Geneva over the last 10 years in terms of the night out events, the stuff you're trying to do with the lakefront.
And that's a lot of that's homegrown. Geneva Night Out he's a newcomer. Jim Meany, he's a new guy to the area, and just thought, hey, why don't we do this? And I think they've got year 3 under their belt, and it was really grassroots.
Now, does the Muscle Man, I'm thinking of some of the events that you have in Geneva now, does like the Muscle Man, does that help the Gould in Seneca Falls as well when the Muscle Man Man weekend? Do you experience like some people staying here at the Gould?
Definitely there's some overflow.
Yeah.
I don't know yet the level, but by all means, it affects the whole area.
Yeah, that's great. It's there's just a lot of good stuff going on.
I remember taking reservations when I was there several years ago for the Muscle Man.
And the Gould again,
couldn't get in anywhere.
Once you get some people into that place, they'll come back. So that's the beauty of that building there. Just taking care of the guests, making sure we're providing a positive experience, clean environment, and comfortable setting. It's wonderful.
Hey, we should point out, the mayor got reelected by what, 10, 12 votes?
12
votes. Mayor Alcock got back in. Jackie Augustine made a great, courageous move and almost pulled it out. But it is what it is. Winning by 12, Mayor Alcock must have just said, "Wow, that was close." But
it was very close.
That's politics,
and that was after the absentee votes. Because leading up to that point, at the end of the polls, she was ahead by 12.
Wow, it's amazing.
Jackie Augustine was up here as a guest on Josh Durso's show Inside the FLX a couple weeks ago, and she said it was definitely had never been through anything like that before, an election that tight. So, and she'd spent 16 years on the city council.
Yep.
Now, I meant to ask you, I'm always curious about the idea, Jason, that you and the council decided to try as a pilot, and that is Joe's Hots, to extend and let people sit out there and to take away that particular parking spot or parking spots. You've had pro and con. We talked about this before. What is the feeling of that? Is that going to continue, or is that something they're reviewing, to take those spots away? Is there anybody complaining about it?
Oh, certainly. There's always push and pull no matter what.
Right. Just curious how that's working out.
What we did this past summer is we took an inventory of the parking spaces at 3 times during the day, during the weekdays. So we determined that there was still always at least a couple of parking spaces available. A lot of it's perception. We all know perception becomes reality. But as far as whether we're going to continue that project, it's something that city manager is probably going to come before council and ask us what we think on it.
Right.
I know there's some criticisms of the particular appearance of the one in front of Joe's Hots. Yeah. But with any program, what you try to do is take the negatives, resolve those, and then move forward. But personally, I think that there's opportunity to do that again, but maybe instead of taking up 2 spots, maybe just 1 in that area. We'll see.
Interesting. So Jason is a well-versed individual. He not only is a sales and events manager for the Gould Hotel, he's got a lot of homework to do to prepare for the council meetings. And you still enjoy the politics side of it, huh? As far as working with the council.
Well, I don't like the politics part. I've told people I'm just a regular guy in politics. I'm not a politician. So, but there's a variety of challenges that come in front of you.
Sure.
So I enjoy it.
That's good.
Oddly so. Yeah.
Has there been any communication between you and the folks at Lago Casino?
Not too much. Not in Geneva, because obviously.
No, I'm actually talking about your capacity with the Gould.
With the Gould? Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. The Gould's been a supporter of the project. So we're excited to see that project come in. It's and that's not even from a tax issue. It's just we know it's a big entity. It's going to draw people here, and as they say, a rising tide lifts all boats. So we're excited to see
rising tide lifts all boats. I got to remember that. Can I steal that line from you?
Absolutely.
I like that.
I borrowed it from somebody else. So.
That's good. Well, certainly let's as we look at the clock, it's 5 up. Let's talk about and recap some of the things. And by the way, if you're wondering where Lori Malfitani is, she's not here, obviously. Some came up to prohibit her from coming on the show with Jason. But Jason has been a great guest, and we'll get Lori back on, I promise you. I've never met the woman, so I'm going to definitely check it out. And
you'll love having her here. Her personality just is outflowing. She's fantastic. So.
As good as ours?
On a Monday morning at 9:30.
Well, listen, let's recapture now the Gould Hotel, folks. We're here pushing the Gould because it's an outstanding place. It really has a lot of flavor to it. You can do a lot of things there. You got a wedding, you got a rehearsal party, all kinds of it. Surprise parties, birthday parties, you name it.
Yep.
Jason and his team will figure it out and get it going.
Absolutely.
And
Doug, you remember how that corner was before the clearance was renovated.
Boy,
the property was starting to
Dead on
become
arrival.
dilapidated, and really, since the reopening, downtown Seneca Falls has been so much more vibrant and attractive.
Sure.
Especially for residents and visitors alike. So I think it's a great product. Me and my wife and our friends love to spend time in that bar area.
Right.
We like to having dinner there as well.
Right.
And, of course, there's lots of events that we attend. But it's important for people of Seneca Falls, especially, to patronize the Gould. Because you guys just got to remember what it was like back in.
I remember when it lay
day.
there. You were worried about it. We never worried about it being torn down because it's historical. They would never have allowed that, but it would have been terrible to leave that dormant for years and years and years with no activity.
It's this historic property.
And I remember when that was going under the renovation, because again, I used to go walk in and check it out, and then my wife kept bugging me about applying for a job there, and eventually I did and got in. But yeah, it's kind of neat, and I think, folks, if you give it a chance, and I'm sure the prices will be comparable to other operations, and I'm sure Jason can work on that detail for you to get you something good for what you're looking for, to fit your budget. I guess that's the term.
Yeah,
fit your
Wednesday
budget,
night specials will fit
absolutely.
everybody's budget. The half-price apps.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's darn good. So, Jason, if they want to get a hold of you, they just call 712-4000.
That is correct.
I remember those numbers. And just contact Jason's. You're going to be under the sales manager type of scenario?
That is correct.
There you go. And just push the button, and Jason will get back to you and work with you on setting up. So, again, Jason, thanks a lot for coming in. And tell Lori we'll get her back in.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
I look forward to it. Jason Hagerman's been our guest this morning. Hey, a reminder, folks, our last regular season of 28 games will be broadcast tonight in Finger Lakes 1. That'll be the North Rose-Wolcott Cougars with one loss now. Taking on Soda Spartans. That'll be around 7:30. Dave Barnick, Mike Alessio, Jim Senecropi, and Jason and Jeremy Hunt on scene tonight from North Rose-Wolcott. And check out that action. Again, as far as sectionals go, I know people have been asking me what we're going to do. Jim will make that determination and will advise us accordingly. By the way, upcoming guests on this show next week, speaking of politicians, Jason's right up his area of expertise. Talk about Seneca County and the explosiveness of the board. Bob Heisen expected to be the chair, vying for the chair, Republican dominated for the Board of Supervisors. Guess what? Hello, politics. A Democrat is the chairman. Dick Westfall. Is it Dick or Gary? Gary Westfall. I know his brother Dick too. But Gary Westfall, the chair, a Democrat, unheard of. Not a Republican. No, they somehow got the Republicans to side with the Democrat. Amazing. So Gary Westfall is a chair, which was a shot out of clear blue skies. No one, as Brad Jones always says on the golf course, I didn't see that one coming. Well, guess what? At the board level, they did not see that one coming as well. We'll talk to Cindy Lorenzetti, the very outspoken Cindy, who's dynamite on this show, and Steve Churchill will be in. Two Democrats who now hold a lot of power, even though they're still in a minority. It's going to be an interesting show. I hope you'll join us next week as we talk Seneca County politics. Not as exciting as what Jason runs up in Geneva, but darn close. And then in 2 weeks, we have a special show. I look forward to these shows a lot. I call them some of these are extremely special to me. We had Tom Wilmot Sr. along with Brent Stevens, the co-chairman of the Lago Resort and Casino, which, by the way, you want to go drive out there and check it out? They're going gang, full blast out there. They got Jimmy trucks and cranes and moving dirt. It's amazing. They're putting in the erection. They're putting out I don't know the terminology, but they're doing a lot of work out at that resort casino area. It's amazing. I took Mary out there the other night. You can't believe the number of workers that are on that site. So keep on knocking on wood. This weather, you never know. They're saying early 2017. We got our fingers crossed. It might surprise us at the end of the year. And of course, we'll have the Wilmot Sons. Two of the sons will be joining us on Weber this week. That'll be on the 22nd, which is 2 weeks from today. Jimmy Wilmot and, of course, Tom Wilmot Jr. will be on this show as our special guest coming up on the 22nd. And we have a lot more guests scheduled through the end of March, and we look forward to you. If you want to be a part of the show, please let us know. We would love to have you in as our guest, and we are booked now through March, so we are taking April dates right now. So, Jason, thanks again, and continued success for you and the Gould.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
All right. And speaking for Jason Hagerman, along with Jim Senecropi, I'm the Dog H. Weber. And again, hang in there, Panther fans. You're young, but you got taken advantage of yesterday by that Denver defense. Congratulations to all of you Denver Bronco fans. That's Weber this week. Take care, everybody.